Aloha, I'm Paula Akana. I'm the Executive Director of the Friends of Iolani Palace. There's so much joy in the palace, in the remarkable things that our people did and that our li'i did around the world, and the many fascinating things they did, and how learned they were and how much they cared for their people. But there's also a great sense of sadness when you come in here to see this really represents the end at that point of the Hawaiian monarchy. You can't walk into the future without knowing where you came from. And I really believe there's so many stories here at the palace to share with the young people now that will help them on their journey, wherever it may take them, wherever it may take the Hawaiian people. This is an important piko, an important center for Hawaiians.
Well, I see the grounds at Iolani Palace as the heart of the people. This is where Hawaii begins, like I said, and it really resonates through everything. Even when you walk on the property, you have a sense of culture, you have a sense of people, place, and at one time, you know, there's also a spiritual side of it too. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of our people come here, and, you know, whether they do, you know, whether it's for their own cultural reason, but they come here because this is where they feel that they can make that connection.
You know, each room represents something really special. You go into the blue room and it's where they would greet their guest. You go into the dining room, and the dining room is a wonderful place because you get an idea of what it was like at that time. But what was really telling for me is when you look at the seating there, the king didn't sit at the end of the chair. The king sat right smack dab in the middle so he could engage with all of his guests. You go into the throne room and you can imagine what it was like when they had dignitaries come from all around the world who recognized the Hawaiian nation as an independent sovereign nation, and they would come here to visit our li'i. But at the same point, that was also where Liliuokalani was put on trial for treason. You really go in there with mixed feelings when you see what it was like. You know, we talk about kapu aloha, and I really think the queen represented that. She was aloha to the very end. When I first came in, I realized that there was a lot of things that needed to be fixed and repaired in this magnificent building. It's 138 years old, or maybe young, but there are so many things that needed to be fixed.
The Friends of Iolani Palace got a contract to restore the palace to as close to its original condition as possible, to repair the roof, to repair and maintain air conditioning. Because it has a historic home, we need to have a certain control over temperature and humidity to preserve the artifacts that are here and also preserve the building. Because as a historic home, our building is our largest artifact, or as our current Director of Curation and Education likes to say, it's our largest cultural resource. And that's expensive.
I mean, it's not only an older building, it's a National Historic Landmark. So everything has to be done a certain way. And once COVID hit, all of our revenues just came to a halt.
But I think that this time for us, we are able to recreate ourselves to the cultural and educational epicenter that we really are. And we're seeing so much of a resurgence in Hawaiian pride right now, that it makes so much sense for people to actually be here and come here. Let's bring the palace back to the community.
I'm so happy that Kama'aina are coming, and I'm so happy that they're able to come at a time where there aren't any crowds. Tourists are important to the palace. Everybody is, and I would never close the doors to any one or the other. You know, what we've been doing here is taking a look at how do we better let the palace tell her story. And we really foresee her as being an educational platform, maybe a virtual educational platform for people around the world to hear the many stories that you don't just get on the tour. For so many who come here, they're not taught any of that in their history books on the continent or in other countries, that we were overthrown. It's all of a sudden Hawaii became a state.
For decades, we have been offering information to the world about the palace via volunteer docents. So our mission statement actually is to preserve, restore, share, celebrate the unique cultural and historical aspects of Iolani Palace for the people of Hawaii and the world. And to be able to do that, we need to maintain the building and all of the artifacts in the building.
Besides the financial aspect of what our needs are, we really are looking in the community to come and help and give up their time and talent. We have a lot of different opportunities for volunteers, and this is the time that we really need the community to come forward. If they can't do it financially, then time and talent is very much appreciated.
If people would come to the palace, that's amazing. Buy tickets for their friends, become a member of the Friends of Iolani Palace, make donations. Any kokua will help us. If there's people out there who want to volunteer as well, we're always looking for volunteers to help us too.
For more information on how you can support Iolani Palace, please visit iolanipalace.org/support. Mahalo.